This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America as we wrap up another week. It is Friday. Friday means a weekly visit from Ron Nicoletti from Gulfstream Park. We'll take a little look at action today, but also they have a stakes race tomorrow, the Sugar Swirl. We'll take a look at that. There's also an interesting little maiden race, I think, tomorrow. So they get to be that time of the year where I got to pay attention to those two-year-old races down at Gulfstream. So we'll take a look at that as well. Then we'll shift our attention down to Fairgrounds. Brian Spencer will join us, the new paddock commentator from Fairgrounds. He's going to also maybe have one or two suggestions for today, but mostly we'll concentrate on tomorrow. Big day down at Fairgrounds, Louisiana Champions Day with a full card of stakes races. Should be a lot of fun down at Fairgrounds, and we'll touch on some of that stakes action for their Saturday card as well. Do want to remind you, events coming up here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Don't forget Lucky Saturdays all through the next 3 weeks, December 14th, 21st, 28th. Sounds like a lot of fun. If you come down here to the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany, on these next 3 Saturdays, you get to submit a slip. Those will be randomly chosen. 2 people picked at the top of every hour, 1, 2, 3, and 4 p.m. One of those lucky patrons gets put into the cash cube. You have 20 seconds to pick up as much funny money as possible. That is then totaled up, and you get either a win, place, or show bet for that amount the next race at Aqueduct. So that sounds like a lot of fun. As I said in the last couple of days, I just want to come down and watch the people try to grab the money in the cash cube. So one of the patrons gets the cash cube. The other patron gets to spin the big wheel, which has prizes on it and betting vouchers and whatnot. So again, top of every hour, 1, 2, and 3 p.m. A couple of people will be randomly chosen to win some nice prizes. Lucky Saturdays, the next 3 Saturdays down here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Coming up on Sunday this week, the live bankroll with my Loose on the Lead partner, Steve Bick. He's also, of course, the host of Sirius and XM's At the Races. You can hear the replay of that here every morning on the network. But this Sunday, Steve Bick will be having a $500,000 bankroll at his disposal, and 25 lucky patrons will be randomly drawn to participate in that bankroll. Got to come down here to the Clubhouse Racebook. Again, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Enter for that drawing between 11 a.m. and 1:30. At 1:30, the folks are chosen. Again, 25 people will be selected to participate. Steve Bick with the $500 bankroll on Sunday. And then on Monday, the return of boxing here at the Clubhouse Racebook. A word has been the past couple of events we've had down here have been well attended, and they've been a lot of fun. Local boxing clubs, a lot of entertainment value to be had there. This is Monday, again, December 16th, this coming Monday, right here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Doors open at 5:30. The first bout is at 6:30. And just one more reminder, we are still in a Bet 50, Get 50 promotion all month long. If you don't yet have a Capital Bets wagering account, sign up. And as soon as you bet your first $50, Capital OTB puts another 50 in. So free money available to new account getters, I guess, if you're not an account holder already. Sign up and participate in the Bet 50, Get 50 promotion. Some of the news, there was a quirky story that came out late yesterday. Unintended consequences. Hollywood Park is closing. I hadn't even thought about this. But they had to round up the flamingos that populate the infield lake. They have now been rounded up and sent off to a zoo. The flamingos, bird expert from the Los Angeles Zoo and a 10-member crew caught all but 2 of the 12 flamingos. They were then transferred to the Charles Paddock Zoo in California, and that's where they will now live. 2 other birds escaped, but the folks say they'll be rounded up in the next couple of weeks and moved over with the rest of the birds. But again, the Hollywood Park closing, don't even think about that, but the flamingos now have been relocated, so they're all taken care of. More important racing news over the past 24 hours, the Preakness has upped its purse, gone from $1 million to $1.5 million. That is the first increase since 1998. So it's been a while since the purse has been boosted up. Now $1.5 million, which means the Kentucky Derby is now at $2 million, the Preakness at $1.5 million, and the Belmont Stakes trails at $1 million. I wonder if this may prompt NYRA to reconsider. I'm curious about that, because you would think, just from a PR standpoint, they don't want to be sitting in third place. So we'll keep our ears to the ground as far as that turns out. But Preakness has announced that they have boosted the purse to $1.5 million for 2014. Yesterday at Aqueduct, I've said this for the past couple of weeks at least. It seems like about the last month and a half, there has been just an abnormal number of horses winning and paying triple digits. It happened again yesterday. $200 flat yesterday in the 6th race at Aqueduct. Front Cover Dream wins at 99-1. Wins pretty easily. I haven't read or seen any kind of analysis of this, and I'd love to see somebody go back and take a look at these horses and see if there's some kind of commonality between the horses or the types of races they're running in. But again, over the past month and a half, and not in New York necessarily, I'm talking all across the country, there just seems to have been, just as I say, an abnormal number of runners that have won at triple digits. And I said this, I don't know, a few days ago on the show. It could just be a strange coincidence. You would think over periods of time you could look at racing across the country and find a period of time where there are no triple-digit winners. And so there may just be some, convergence of the stars that say this is a point on the calendar where coincidentally there have been a bunch of them, but it's been strange, the number of triple-digit winners, again, going back probably about a month and a half. Churchill, New York, out in California, just really all over the place, and it's been kind of strange. And there's nothing obvious that jumps out at you to indicate, oh, well, it's this kind of race or not. But I haven't seen any database that has really put them all together. I'd love to see somebody take a look at that. Some other news down at Gulfstream tomorrow, actually this afternoon. There is a return of a runner. We should keep our eyes on Zakov, the Pletcher runner in race number 6 this afternoon. This is a horse that was a very impressive maiden breaker last March, subsequently went to the bench, comes back today in an optional claiming event, the 6th at Gulfstream. Won the first race by over 14 lengths. So again, an impressive debut runner from Todd Pletcher by Distorted Humor, out of weight a while. There's some interesting breeding there, obviously. Going to make the second career start off a long way off now. That career debut win, the impressive debut win, again, back in March, comes back today in the 6th at Gulfstream. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that one. Also worth keeping our eyes on down in Florida. Javier Castellano is shooting for history. Castellano is now sitting just a little under $9,000 away from the North American single season earnings record that was set by Ramon Dominguez in 2012. Now, you would think with this much time left in the month and only $9,000 away, that record will be broken by Mr. Castellano. And again, we'll keep our eyes on that. Could happen as early as this afternoon down at Gulfstream Park. Castellano, again, ready to make history. It's My Lucky Day, preparing to come back. Multiple stakes winner, the Preakness runner-up. It's My Lucky Day, nearing a return to the work tab. Has been on the bench since pulling up in the Pegasus at Monmouth. Diagnosed then with a pelvic fracture, but again, on the road to making a comeback on the racetrack, nearing a return to the work tab. Keep your eyes open for that if you were an It's My Lucky Day fan. This one will be returning to the racetrack sooner rather than later. Similar situation with Normandy Invasion, back on the track for Chad Brown. That one had a little bit of a setback as well. There was plenty of promise for Normandy Invasion, so some disappointments when that one didn't make it back to the track earlier. But now Chad Brown is quoted as saying he's just started back galloping a couple of weeks ago. He's about ready to breeze. We're just taking it day by day. We'll let him tell us when he's ready. But Normandy Invasion, again, one of those horses that certainly showed a lot of promise, and going to be fun to keep our eyes on him and watch coming back. Daily Racing Form over the past day or so has added a bunch of articles looking back at Hollywood Park. Again, things are wrapping up. You're going to see a lot of this kind of thing. We've tried to throw out some Hollywood Park races as well. We'll continue to do so next week, just kind of in memory of Hollywood Park. But one of the articles I found interesting in the Racing Forum this morning, there was an article called Hollywood Park, What a Run It Had. And at the end of the article, there's a list, and it may trigger memories for folks who have been fans for a while, list of some defunct major racetracks. And among those listed on here, Bay Meadows, which of course lasted until 2008. Hollywood Park, obviously, on their way out. Tanforan out there in California. Hialeah is listed, and I guess Hialeah belongs in there, although Hialeah potentially on the comeback road, but Hialeah also in the mix. Tropical Park down in Florida. Sportsman's Park, which was around until 2003. Washington Park out in Illinois. Bowie went through 1985. I have been around long enough to remember when Bowie was racing. Ak-Sar-Ben, I remember when that went out. That was 1995. Garden State Park, certainly remember that as well, and a number of other ones in here. They don't mention, I'm just looking at the list, don't mention right up here in our neighborhood, Green Mountain, of course, that folks around here certainly remember as a thoroughbred track. They also had the harness horses and wound up with running the dogs, but Green Mountain, in my lifetime, I remember all three of the various breeds running up there. All right. We are going to head to our first break. And again, speaking of Hollywood Park, and we're touching on some of the nice races that they had out there and remembering some of the big events at Hollywood Park. Going to go to the break here with a little, it's about a 4-minute video focusing on Affirmed. Top of the video, you're going to see the 1977 Juvenile Championship out at Hollywood Park, which Affirmed wins. And then most of it is going to concentrate on the 1979 Hollywood Gold Cup. This is a fun race, and it's one of the highlights of watching Hollywood Park, certainly. Affirmed Triple Crown winner, Affirmed in the Hollywood Gold Cup in 1979, carries 132. Watch this race. He gets hounded the entire way, pulls away in the stretch. Really a fun race to watch and to remember not only Hollywood Park, but Affirmed. And then listen when they announce the final time at the end of the video. But again, in memory of Hollywood Park, we're going to watch Affirmed win the Hollywood Gold Cup that eventually ran his Hollywood record to 4 for 4. Affirmed certainly a horse for a course there at Hollywood Park, being trained by Southern California-based Laz Barrero. So again, as we go to the break, a little bit from Affirmed in Hollywood Park. When we come back, Ron Nicoletti from Gulfstream Park. Stay tuned.
Best horse he's ever ridden. No horse ever finished in front of Affirmed with Pink Eye in the saddle. The 1977 Juvenile marked their debut at Hollywood Park. In 4 lifetime starts here, Affirmed won them all.
Rising Echo, third by ahead, Metal Bender is fourth, Morning Blessed and he sips Fables. Now it's Affirmed in front by 4 lengths.
His trainer, Lazaro Barrera, made the Hall of Fame in 1979. That same year, Affirmed carried 132 pounds in the Hollywood Gold Cup.
This is called the Race of Champions, and we certainly, Les, we look back over the former winners of this race and noticed Native Diver and Citation. Really, we have some champions in the former winners.
And we probably have one of the greatest champions of all time, Harborview Farms Affirmed, going today, and this is his $2 million try.
On the tote board, I think it's 1-9, yes, 1-9, Affirmed.
And it's all been said, listen to the crowd in the background.
There he is.
The flag is up. And here they come. Affirmed is going to the front on the inside. Now Sir Lad has taken the lead. Affirmed is second. Tax third on the extreme outside. Farnesio is fourth. Double Discount fifth. Syncopate sixth. Then True Statement, Saros, How Curious, and As the Copus. Coming by the stands, it's Sir Lad on the outside. By a head, Affirmed is second on the rail by a neck. Farnesio third by a neck. Tax fourth on the outside. By a head, True Statement is fifth. Saros sixth. Then Syncopate on the rail. Double Discount, How Curious, and As the Copus. Around the clubhouse turn, it's affirmed. In front on the inside by a head. Sir Lad is second by 1 length. Tax third on the outside by half length. Farnacio fourth by 3 lengths. True Statement is fifth. Cerro sixth. Then Syncopate, Double Discount. How Curious and Aztecopus Trails. Down the back stretch, it's affirmed in front on the rail by a head. Sir Lad is second by a half length. Tax third by a length and a half. Farnacio fourth by 3 lengths. Cerros is fifth. True Statement sixth. Then Syncopate on the rail. Double Discount, How Curious, and Aztecopus. Into the far turn, it's affirmed on the inside by a head. Sir Lad is second by a head. Tex third on the outside by 3 lengths. Farnacio is fourth. Syncopate fifth. True Statement and Double Discount. Turning for home, it's affirmed on the inside by a head. Sir Lad is second by a head. Tex is third on the outside by 2 lengths. Farnacio is fourth, and True Statement into the stretch. It's taxed on the outside by a head. Sir Lad is second by a head, affirmed third. Now coming on again on the rail. Now it's affirmed in front by half length. Sir Lad is second and text. Affirmed drawing out. Affirmed and Sir Lad and text. And affirmed is the winner by half length. Sir Lad second by 3.5 with text finishing third. Ladies and gentlemen, the running time of 1 minute 58 and 2/5 seconds is only 1/5 of a second off the world's record for the distance, the track and world's record. And in the winner's circle, the richest thoroughbred in racing history, affirmed, the jockey Lafitte Pincay Jr.
On his way to a repeat as Horse of the Year, and then into racing's Hall of Fame in 1980.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB Television Network.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at capitalotb.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
I'm Steve Bick, inviting you to join me Sunday, December 15th at the Clubhouse Racebook. I'll be handicapping the day's races live and managing a $500 bankroll for 25 lucky patrons. To be part of the bankroll team, sign up at the Clubhouse Sunday by 1:30. We'll see you then, and let's win together.
Wagering at CapitalOTB.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Capital Bet TV, the fastest and easiest online wagering experience where you can monitor 5 different tracks simultaneously. 2. Capital Bet Express. Its straightforward program layout and interactive handicapping information lets you build your wager quickly and efficiently. And 3. Capital Bet Pro, designed especially for the professional horse player. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
I'm Anthony Mormino. Join me weekdays at 9 for the Handicappers Report. We'll handicap the top tracks across the country and help you prepare for the day in racing. That's the Handicappers Report, weekdays at 9, only on the OTB TV network.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. Friday morning means a visit from Ron Nicoletti at Gulfstream Park. Ron, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Seth?
Pretty good. Give us a little weather forecast. Folks are playing Gulfstream this afternoon.
Beautiful day. Always a chance of rain down here, but a little cool this morning for us. It was in the 70s, but it should be a beautiful afternoon. Expecting, chance of rain throughout the whole weekend, so we're hoping those chances don't come. Should be a pretty good weekend for racing.
All right, let's keep our fingers crossed. And before we look today and tomorrow, just want to shift back to last weekend, which was a nice weekend of racing. How'd things go for the Claiming Crown? Because certainly watching on television up here looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, and my job was to interview all the sponsors and everything, and everybody seemed to be positive and upbeat, and we had some great races. I mean, basically, if you fit the conditions, a lot of these horses are really stakes horses, you know what I mean, every once in a while. So it was like having 8 stakes in a row, and, of course, anytime that happens, it was a lot of fun. And, we had that 10-cent Ultimate 8, and somebody hit one ticket $60,000. Certainly wasn't me, but... congratulations, whoever it was, but for 10-cent wager, I don't know how much they put in. So it was a fun day. It's always a fun day, Sort of kicking off the meet, and next week we start going 4 days, Thursday to Sunday, and then when we hit around after New Year's, we'll be going 5 days a week. So things are starting to crank up here, and it's very strange shift over from running here this summer, to just going into our championship meeting. It's a little different. At least for me, who's been here since the beginning of time, it's a little bit strange, It doesn't feel like, that big guy's opening. But last weekend, the Claiming Crown sort of just exploded. It kicked it off,
Yeah, and that may be the real delineation going forward now. As you say, it's a little bit different having gone through the summer. You don't get that break where people really have the anticipation.
Exactly.
But certainly folks know that it's a different season now, and yet folks a lot of times focus on Gulfstream, certainly late in the 2-year-old season, early in the 3-year-old season, and it may be that point that the Claiming Crown now will tell people, okay, we're on the launch pad, we're ready to take off. And exactly. I just wanted to mention the one that really impressed me. There was nice performances, as I say, all day last weekend, but Rio Bobo, how about that horse?
Yeah, Rio Bobo was just out for a Saturday cruise. He didn't really have to do much running in there. He's a really nice horse.
Yeah.
We had won 9 of 10, and certainly came back and got right back onto his winning streak. And yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of good races. Big fields, and talking about big fields. Friday and Saturday and Sunday here, the fields are so big, I can't believe it. We got 14 runners in a lot of the turf races. It's been really tough to handicap, but really a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before when we do the handicapping show just prior to this. Big fields mean nice prices. Even if you get a couple of favorites coming in on Exacta, you can get $25 or $30. If you got 12 horses in the field.
Yeah, no, if you got 14, there's a couple of horses that normally you would make maybe 12 to 1 or something like that, and to make it fit into the odds, you have to make them 20 or 30,
Yeah.
And if that horse decides to run good on that particular day, you can get yourself a really nice payoff.
Absolutely. All right, let's see if we can come up with some ideas for this afternoon. We'll take a look at a few races today, and then also shift our attention to tomorrow as well. But this afternoon, the 4th race, Maiden Claimer, 12-5 tags. These are 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I just thought the 2 horses in here, Talented Cat, looked good. He's dropping to the bottom in Maiden Scale. He showed speed. He dropped back and finished 4th against $25,000 Maidens back on October 26th. Trainer Wesley Ward, he does good with that. And I think if you're kicking off your wagers in here, pick 3 or something like that, the 2 Talented Cat, it's not the greatest of races, but I think that this could, key your day right there. And I closed it out with the 5 double click and the 4. Now here, there's 2, 5, and 4 in that 4th race.
All right, and Robbie Davis's kid, Dylan Davis, doing all right early in the career.
He is definitely doing okay. He looks pretty good on a horse. We check him out down here. We got all the critics in the world happen to be in South Florida,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and I should mention, I talked about at the top of the show, Javier Castellano sitting on a single-season earnings record, so that'll be a reason to focus on Gulfstream as well.
Yeah, we got the Castellano watch going today, so we'll be seeing that. What a nice record to break, huh?
Oh, absolutely. and he a very nice guy, too. I've had him on with me live up in Saratoga.
Great guy. About 10, 12 years ago when he was just starting out, I had a couple of horses that I owned with my cousin, and he was the first rider who ever rode one of our horses, so we go back a long way.
There you go. And speaking of Castellano and reasons to pay attention to Gulfstream this afternoon and the traditional meet, which attracts so much attention, these are the kind of races that make it fun. The 6th at Gulfstream this afternoon, optional claiming event going 6 furlongs. I mean, here we are. It's a Friday. It's a weekday. But Zakov from Pletcher could be any kind of horse.
Yeah, this horse is really, like you said, the 6th horse in his Zakov. Is making his first start since that impressive 14-length maiden victory here. That was last March 15th. Pletcher, 26, you know all the stats with him, longer than the 180-day layoff. This horse is really working well, so it looks like the logical choice in there. But you got to, the 5 horse in there, Black Karma from Kirk Zadie, who seemed to win every race here this summer, who's not a bad horse. They started this horse, I think, for a $16,000 maiden or something. They realized they had a good horse, so it should be a very interesting race. And with that said, it might set up for Defend, who likes to stalk behind those horses if they're running good, but hard not to go against the 6 Zakov in there.
And you always wonder when you see one like Black Karma, you wonder, were they trying to sneak this one in? And then after the race was like, whoo, we got away with one.
Exactly.
Because he wins off pretty easy for 16 and turns out to be a pretty nice horse, as you said.
Yeah, definitely. And that barn, like I said, going so good all summer long, it's hard to leave them off any of your exotic wager tickets.
Yeah, you mentioned Zaidi, but also you got to look at the owner and that horse too, and Frank Calabrese, always live as well.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, the 8th race today, Gulfstream's 8th is a optional claimer, 75 tags, non-winners are one other than. This one's on a grass at a mile. I'll be interested to see where you go here.
Oh, well, I got my best bet in here. I really like the 6 Lemon Point. He's going to get Lasix today. He came within a half length of winning the. We had these $100,000 juvenile fillies turf here was for Florida breds. Apparently bled in that race. Billy Mott, he's good with first-time Lasix. Jose Lizcano rides excellent on this turf course, returning on this daughter of a Lemon Drop kid. So made it my best bet this afternoon. But I was interesting. I was watching everybody's selections. Not everybody enamored with Lemon Point as much as I am. So maybe I'll get a little bit of a price.
Well, maybe, yeah. You're getting 3-1 on the morning line, and that is always a good barometer. If you see people kind of shifting around a little bit, that means, may not float up necessarily, but if it holds at that 3-1, hey, if you can get $8 with a horse that you think is your best bet, that's okay too.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's shift our attention to tomorrow. You have a stakes race tomorrow, but before that, again, as mentioned, a lot of folks focus on the traditional Gulfstream meet late in the year. You want to see some 2-year-olds that maybe are worth watching early in the year. The 3-year-olds, well, there's a maiden race tomorrow for 2-year-olds in the 7th, going 2 turns, mile and a 16th. I found this race kind of intriguing, and I pulled up some video here. We're going to watch the stretch run from Gulfstream on October 27th. Nagaza is going to run second behind Diabolical in here. Nagaza will be the number 5 horse. People can keep their eyes on that. Nagaza comes back today. Missed in that debut by a neck. Now has been off since October 22nd, but I think this horse is kind of interesting. You have a second-time starter from Todd Pletcher by Giants Causeway, owned by Michael Tabor, Palace Gate. You have a firster from Bill Mott by Warfront Blarp. You have a firster from Michael Dilger, who I think is a trainer kind of on the up and come. Michael Dilger, to me, is a guy definitely worth watching. You have a Mark Cassie horse in here who is getting closer in all 3 of his career starts. This is one I think is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow, and I think one or two of these will come out and be worth watching. What are your thoughts on tomorrow's 7th?
Yeah, well, I started. I got the horse he showed in the stretch curl in Nagaza. That actually turned out to be a key race where a couple of horses came out and win their next start. But I went with the 7, the Mark Cassie horse, Thundergrand and Stop on top. He's a promising son of Graham Hall. I like the fact he's the only horse in the race to ever hit the board at the distance. As you said, he's getting closer for 2 starts, a second and a third, and I always like that angle. And I just think this horse is coming into his own, and he's got that bullet half-mile work at Palm Meadows and 47-4. So I think this horse might be the right one in there. But as you mentioned, very interesting race, and anything can happen in these races. Pletcher, when he warms up, it's hard not to have him on the top of all your tickets, but there's very, very nice breeding in that race, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a couple I didn't mention. Kelly Breen as a firster by Indian Charlie. I love first-time starters by Indian Charlie.
Right.
Karen McLaughlin with a Darley runner. That is, as I say, it would surprise me if at least 1 or 2 don't come out of that race tomorrow and prove to be kind of interesting going forward. And your feature race tomorrow at Gulfstream is the Sugar Swirl Grade 3 event, $100,000 purse, fillies and mares 3-year-olds and up, going 3/4 of a mile. Short field, but interesting field. I pulled up some video here. I went back to last March at Gulfstream, the Primal Force, just so we could watch our free roll. Our free roll in this video will be the number 5 horse, and will wind up second at 7-1. Our Free Roll comes back to Gulfstream. That was the last time this horse was seen at Gulfstream. Nice second place finish in a little stakes race. The Beyer figure may be a little light, but last time out ran a 102 Beyer, so maybe in some good form right now. Our Free Roll was kind of interesting to me. What did you think?
Yeah, I had it on top of my ticket, but the horse that's getting all the steam here is the one, Crazy About Me, who won 5 consecutive races during her summer campaign. Now she's back in the Jorge Navarro barn, hoping to start another win streak. You look at her; she's, she ran third in that $100,000 Safely Kept. But if you look at her record at the distance, 6 furlongs, 4 starts, 4 wins, and this is what they call the. It sounds like the wise guy horse in that race. Not that it's going to be much of a price with Jorge Navarro as the trainer, but. So I went Our Free Roll, Crazy About Me, and the horse that's really been interesting to me is the 3 Heart Stealer. You know, this horse is just looked like he's coming into his own, got good connections, and I think that horse could be somewhere on the ticket.
Yeah, as I say, it's a short field, but it's a lot of fun. The Marty Wolfson horse, Heart Stealer, as you say. Crazy About Me was a horse that when I handicapped the race, I took a hard look at. I wasn't thrilled necessarily with his Gulfstream record. You'll go back, and the Beyers were a little light, does have 1 win in 3 starts. That said, I think she's a better horse now. So it was one of those I wasn't quite sure which way to go, but I agree she's going to be very interesting there as well. Ron, just curious, have you taken a look at the Hollywood Futurity, which I think is a fun race? Shared belief?
I did not.
Okay. I just was curious. It's that time of year when I always like to get opinions on these 2-year-old races moving forward.
I will later on, but we're always we got Gulfstream to think of first, and then I'll get to those later on during the day.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you. Ron, we certainly appreciate the visit this morning, as always. Good luck this afternoon and tomorrow as well, and we'll talk to you next week.
You got it.
Thanks.
Take care, Seth.
Thanks a lot. Ron Nicoletti from Gulfstream Park. Don't forget, you can find Ron's Gulfstream Park selections each and every racing day on the Gulfstream Park website. All right, we'll take our next break. When we come back, we'll be Brian Spencer of Fairgrounds. We'll take a little look, get a couple ideas for this afternoon, but they have a big stakes day tomorrow at Fairgrounds, so we'll talk a little bit about that right after this.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Fascinated by the world of horse racing? Interested in honing your handicapping skills? Class is in session. Night school, Monday nights. Easy to access online. It's free, interactive, and informative for the casual and serious race fan. Horse Player Now Buzz. Live horses to watch emailed to you daily. Our eyes, your prize. Night School in the Buzz. Visit horseplayernow.com for details.
Each morning on the OTB TV network, you get the very best in horse racing programming. Weekdays begin with the Handicappers Report, where professional handicappers share their selections and analysis of the day's racing. Followed by Racing Across America, a daily conversation with racing personalities from around the country. Saturdays include Down the Stretch, where Mark Casano speaks with the biggest names in racing. And Sunday mornings, it's Loose on the Lead, where Steve Bick and I offer news and a unique lineup of weekly guests. All here on the OTB TV network.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
This is Steve Beck. Join me Tuesday through Saturday here on OTB TV for At the Races, my Sirius XM daily news magazine of the thoroughbred industry. Handicapping, interviews, analysis, everything you could want. 6 a.m. OTB TV.
Welcome back to Racing Across America for this Friday morning. Friday morning means a weekly visit from Brian Spencer at Fairgrounds. If you watch the simulcast signal, you see Brian regularly in the paddock giving his analysis. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning, Seth. How are you today?
Very good. Give us a little update of folks who are going to play Fairgrounds this afternoon and into the weekend. What's the weather look like?
We have a little bit of a chance of rain for tomorrow. We only have one turf race carded on the Saturday Champions Day card, but weather is good today, and our track conditions are fast and good.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. And Brian, let's take a look at a couple today before we get into that Louisiana Champions Day. Nice day of stakes action tomorrow. But give us some ideas for today. Prior to that, we'll kick things off. We'll take a look at today's fifth 6-furlong event for conditional claimers, 25 to 30 tags. They'll go 6 furlongs. Your ideas in race 5?
Yeah, in race 5, there's a lot of question marks around my top choice here, which is the number 5, Holiday Lunch, coming off of a very long layoff last September of 2012, coming up in class, facing winners for the first time. But his debut race at Arlington, granted it came at the $12,500 maiden claiming level, but it was really something to see. He was held up behind a pretty modest pace. Ryder made a really aggressive move. He split horses nicely and blew the race open on the turn. But perhaps my favorite thing about it was that once he was well clear in the lane, he didn't get to doing any of those things that young first-time starting 2-year-olds like to do. He didn't wander. He didn't get lazy. He kept the task straight as a string, and I think that that showed me that he can definitely run. Third is a question mark, but the barn does a good job in these kind of layoff situations, so I think he's the right one in here.
Yeah, these are the kind that for me are a little bit of a head scratcher, because clearly this horse, very impressive in the debut. But then a long layoff, and now they come back for a higher price. Buyer figure says this horse fits, and I actually kind of like the confident move. I have to give some bonus points. The trainer seems to be off to a pretty good start with a limited sample so far, but it is kind of a head scratcher. But it's certainly one, if that morning line holds up, worth taking a shot at. You are going to go up against a class dropper, though, from Steve Asmussen in the race, the number 1 Quip Trip. So, as I say, these are the kind that you scratch your head a little bit. But at 5 to 1, you don't want to be sitting on the sideline. The long layoff is the concern. But as I say, if the price is right, you don't want to be sitting on the sidelines if this one validates that career debut.
Yeah, I mean, he just looks so good, and this is by no means a soft spot for the level. The 7 for Cerro on the outside for Brett Calhoun drops in class, looked really good at Indiana Downs going short off the layoff in October. So I mean, this is not an easy spot, which is why I think there's a decent chance that we will get a pretty square price on Holiday Lunch.
Yeah. All right. So we'll move on now. You have some thoughts in race number 6 as well. That's a conditional claiming event, 20 to 30 tags, non-winners of 3 other than. This one's scheduled for 7.5 furlongs on the turf.
Yeah, number 2, Gaelico, is going to be the one that I'm going to go with here. It's going to be second time off the claim for Steve Asmussen. Pretty significant reduction in class here. Faced a pretty quality entry-level allowance group. Maybe not the deepest field for the level, but it was 11 horses. Got a little bit of pressure on the front end. Went 24 and 49 on a yielding turf course that was showing a lot of 26 and 52 kind of fractions at that point in the meet. So Gaelico got pushed along, dug into deep stretch, and just gave way, kind of wrapped up late in the lane. But David Flores sticks with him this time around on the class drop and really looks like he's got the run of the race up top here.
And I will say this also, Flores doing pretty well on the move to New Orleans.
Yeah. I mean, he's been fairly selective with the mounts, but he's been doing really excellent work and turning in some really nice rides. Definitely one of the more confident things that I've got in this horse is that Flores sticks around for Asmussen here.
All right, as mentioned before, a big day of stakes action tomorrow down at Fairgrounds, Louisiana Champions Day. I like these state-bred days they have at various tracks around the country. Down in Louisiana, there's a ton of them because you have Delta Downs and Evangeline, Louisiana Downs, and they all seem to have their own special days. But typically they're fun, competitive fields. We do it up here a couple times a year in New York. They have the state breds out in California. Just a few weeks ago, they had the Maryland Million Day out in Maryland. And again, it seems wherever they are, they're nice, big, competitive fields. That's the case tomorrow down at Fairgrounds. A nice, solid stakes day all day long with these Louisiana Champion races. We'll kick things off. Take a look in race number 9, which is the Louisiana Champions Juvenile, $100,000 purse for Louisiana-bred 2-year-olds. And I pulled up some video here, Brian, of a race at Keeneland back in October 13th. We're going to be watching Rare, the number 5 horse, run second behind a horse called Myositis Dan. Myositis Dan subsequently came back to run 3rd in an allowance race behind Pat Burns' very talented Almost Famous. So Rare finishing second here behind a horse who I think is pretty good. Again, that was the career debut on synthetic at Keeneland. Followed that up with a maiden special at Churchill that wasn't so good, but takes the blinkers off today. And I think I'm going to maybe draw a little bit of a line through that Churchill race. I think Rare is kind of interesting tomorrow. What are your thoughts on the Louisiana Juvenile?
Well, in Louisiana Juvenile, Rare is one of those that I had a lot of trouble kind of figuring out where I thought he would fit within this group. Obviously, coming from Open Company into this Louisiana bred stakes spot. That being said, he's going to run into two very sharp, unbeaten winners here, and that's the 8 Coteau Rouge and the 3 I'd Be Cool in the 9th race tomorrow. And Coteau Rouge just has been super impressive. Debuted at Delta going 5 furlongs. Did it so easily that day, and if he did it so easily that day, I don't know what the word is for how he did it here on November 24th when he beat a big field with a sweeping 5-6 wide move, and he was just coming away for fun. I really think that he's a serious talent. I think he's going to be very difficult to beat tomorrow, regardless of what these other horses show up with.
Yeah, as you say, 2 for 2, and a nice win over the track. He is certainly one you have to keep your eyes on. And as you say, what attracted me a little bit on Rare was also Open Company, 2 state-bred companies, so that's kind of interesting as well. But we'll see how it shakes out tomorrow in the Juvenile. Moving on now to the highlight of the day, the Louisiana Champions Day Classic, $150,000 purse, 3-year-olds and up, going 1 1/8. And Brian, in this race, I pulled some video up of Sunbeam. And we're looking at a Delta Downs race from November 2nd, the Gold Cup. We will watch number 3, Sunbeam, win this by a neck. Holds on as the 2-1 second choice. Again, Sunbeam will get up here to just win by a neck. The number 3 horse comes back in this event at Fairgrounds. And I pulled up this race, Brian, because we talked about Sunbeam on this show quite a bit earlier this year. When he was in the barn of Al Stahl, this was a horse that looked to potentially be on the 3-year-old Open Trail earlier this year. It didn't pan out that way. Subsequently has changed hands as far as the trainer side a couple of times, but comes back off this nice win in the Gold Cup. How do you see the Champions Day Classic?
I really think Sunbeam is the one to beat here. If you draw a line through those 3 Open Company graded stakes tries against 3-year-olds earlier this year, his form is very imposing in this spot. That being said, I'm going to take a shot against him because I assume the price is going to be very short in this spot. And I think the number 3, Arkansas Martini, is going to be coming back in here. He only beat 3 horses last time out, but given his style, I like the way that he was able to at least stay in contact with those 3 horses early, and he made a sweeping, aggressive move off the turn and just kept task in the lane. Now going to make the 3rd start off the layoff for Wes Hawley. Sean Bridgemont will take over in the irons today as James Graham opts to stick with String King, who's going to try the dirt here instead of defending his championship in the Louisiana Champions Day turf. So a very interesting race, a lot of different ways you can go, but I just figured I wanted to go price shopping a little bit here while giving respect to Sunbeam and definitely covering him in the multi-race wagers.
Yeah, and String King is kind of interesting. Obviously, this horse is better on turf, looking at the past performances. Did they give you any indication why they were going? I mean, was it just, well, he's run okay on dirt. Let's take a shot at the bigger purse.
That was really the feeling that I got from Charlie Smith, was that he just wanted to take a shot with him here on the dirt. The purse is $50,000 bigger, and granted, he's 2 for 6 on the dirt in his career, but I don't think he's never faced this kind of company on the dirt. But he did win a pretty tough battle on the turf last time out, grinding his way up over a long shot in a race that everybody seemed to think that he needed. So maybe he's got a positive forward step in him tomorrow.
And again, I mentioned at the top of this discussion that Louisiana Champions Day, how fun those state-bred days are. That Louisiana state-bred program is fun to watch year in and year out. There have been some nice horses. Bill Mott had one a couple of years ago that I can't remember now, that would come back year after year. But I'm just looking at String King. Most of the races on the page, goes out into Open Company occasionally and does so very competitively, but most of the races on the page, state-bred company. So the horse won almost $600,000. So, boy, the Louisiana bred program, a lot of fun, certainly. All right, let's shift our attention and look at another one of these races tomorrow, the Louisiana Champions Day Sprint. That will be run as race number 11, $100,000 purse, 6 furlongs the distance. And we're going to look at some video here. Go back to November 23rd down at Fairgrounds, an allowance event. Going to watch the number 2B, Tallahatchie Luke, get it done as the 6-5 favorite. Tallahatchie Luke comes back in here tomorrow as 9-2 on the morning line. Your thoughts in the sprint tomorrow?
In the sprint, this tested every bit of my handicapping patience. 14 horses, not many fewer than that who can win this one. You can go many different ways. Tallahatchie Luke, definitely one of those. I think he kind of got away with one going 2 turns last time out, set a slow pace, and barely held on over a horse who had a really much more difficult trip, but I also do like him on the cutback a little bit. However, I went with the number 4 Joyce's Rebel in a race where, like I said, I think about 9 or 10 of them actually have a chance to win. I really liked Joyce's Rebel's race here on November 23rd. Took up a really nice tactical spot, made that kind of first jump move into the stretch and held firm. And I think that with what I'm assuming should be a very honest pace in front of him, he may be a little bit further off it in this spot, but he also, if he's able to repeat that or potentially even move forward in his second start off the layoff, a small jump forward would make him very tough here at a nice number. He's 8-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, as you note, a big field, a competitive field, and again, that is what makes these state-bred days so fun. And before we let you go, you had a little bit of maybe a price play earlier in the card. Race number 8 tomorrow is the Louisiana Ladies, $100,000 purse for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They'll go a mile and a 16th. What do you have in there that's interesting?
I think the number 5, Insincerely Yours, rates a big chance there. I think that she tried State-Bred Stakes Company once, but that was on the turf here last March, and she's a much better filly on the dirt. She loves this 2-turn trip here at Fairgrounds, and I think that maybe she's a little bit more versatile than some of her running lines would suggest. So depending on where Mischievous Mama goes, because she's cross-entered in the ladies sprint, if the pace is slower, she can sit closer. If it heats up, she can sit back and finish. But she has been really something over this Fairgrounds main track in all of her career tries here. And toss that sprint try last out, just a tightener for this at 20-1 on the morning line. I'd be thrilled at 12-1 actually.
Yeah, she's one of those horses that I have to admit, if I was just handicapping the race myself, I myself might have ignored her, because you look at the last couple and they're not much. Now, I do like the angle. Last time maybe a little fitness, and now stretches back out to 2 turns, which is probably more her game. But still, I think I may have ignored this horse just off those last 2 races. But you make a great point. You go over to that line of her races on the fairground surface, 6 starts, 4 wins. So a little bit of a horse for a course angle there that may be worth paying attention to. 20-1 on the morning line. Then you added in the aforementioned Flores on board.
Yep, and I remember that is also a part of, we have an additional pick 4 in the middle of the 13 race card tomorrow, races 7 through 10. So we have pick 4 starting in race 2, race 7, and race 10.
Excellent. All right, so again, Louisiana Champions Day tomorrow down at Fairgrounds, a big day of stakes action. That'll be a lot of fun. A couple of ideas for this afternoon as well. Brian, as always, we appreciate the visit. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one, Seth.
Thanks a lot. Brian Spencer of the Fairgrounds. We'll take our last break. When we come back, a little more news and notes and preview of the weekend. All of that right after this. Stay tuned.
I'm Jeff Carl. Join me Saturdays and Sundays at 9 for the Handicappers Report. We'll handicap the top tracks across the country and help you prepare for the weekend in racing. That's the Handicappers Report. Weekends at 9, only here on the OTB TV network.
The future of online betting is here, and only at the all-new CapitalOTBBet.com. With a newly designed and engineered internet wagering platform, enhanced video streaming, additional funding options, and 3 new individual wagering opportunities, CapitalOTBBet.com delivers a state-of-the-art wagering experience found nowhere else in horse racing. Combine that with our all-new mobile website. You have 2 of the most powerful, innovative, and advanced wagering platforms available today. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
I'm Steve Bick, inviting you to join me Sunday, December 15th at the Clubhouse Racebook. I'll be handicapping the day's races live and managing a $500 bankroll for 25 lucky patrons. To be part of the bankroll team, sign up at the Clubhouse Sunday by 1:30. We'll see you then, and let's win together.
And welcome back to Racing Across America for this Friday morning. We're wrapping up another week, and that means we're a day away from stakes action. Saturday across the country, always very, very interesting. Cash Call Futurity tomorrow. I think that's probably the stakes highlight of the weekend. Talked a little bit about this race yesterday. Cash Call Futurity has a $750,000 purse, Grade 1 event, mile and a 16th. There was an article, I'm going to say Hovde wrote it, maybe Privman, in the Racing Forum that kind of took a look at the results of the Hollywood Futurity as compared to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, with horses coming out and then moving forward to do well in Triple Crown races. And really the Hollywood Futurity stacks up better than the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I don't think it's going to be any different this year, because I think you have a field of 13, and 2 or 3 of these are going to come out and make some noise, at least as 3-year-olds. Field of 13 tomorrow in the Hollywood Futurity. Tamarando for Jerry Hollendorfer could be interesting. Won the $100,000 Real Quiet over this Hollywood Park strip last time out, so has shown an affinity for the racetrack. Bondholder from Doug O'Neill won the front runner, the Grade 1 front runner, before running 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So return to more legitimate Grade 1 company. I think that Breeders' Cup Juvenile year in and year out is maybe the toughest Grade 1 of the year. So you maybe throw a little slack for those events. But this is a pretty tough Grade 1 too, I must say. But Bondholder, I think will run well. Candy Boy, just want to bring this one up. Candy Boy goes out for John Sadler. 4 career starts so far, and only broke the maiden in the last start. And I bring up Candy Boy because when we had Jeremy Plonk on Wednesday, he is now compiling his Countdown to the Crown magazine, which is going to come out either the end of the year, this year, or beginning of next year, and will really be a comprehensive look at the 2-year-olds turning 3-year-olds that will be worth watching in 2014. And he gave us 3 horses that he thought were going to be kind of interesting watching going forward. Candy Boy was one of those horses. So Candy Boy, again, just broke the maiden last time out for John Sadler. The buyer figure as compared to the rest of this field looks a little light, but I will, again, remind you, Jeremy Plonk mentioned this horse as one worth watching going forward. Tap It Rich for Bob Baffert. This is another one that maybe just a little overmatched in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, excuse me. And I think this one probably, fact of the matter is, Tap It Rich, impressive in the career debut, breaking the maiden. But to go from a maiden to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, that's a pretty big step. So Tap It Rich now with a couple of races of experience under his belt should improve off of that effort. The horse that everybody's going to pay attention to is Shared Belief for Jerry Hollendorfer. Comes out of the Hollywood Preview. That was this one's second career start. So now 2 for 2. Maiden breaker up at Golden Gate in the middle of October. And then the middle of November, that Hollywood Preview, which was very, very impressive. So Shared Belief going to take a lot of attention. And out at the 13-hole, Kobe's Back also I think is going to be worth watching. But Kobe's Back, again, stuck out in the 13. That's going to be a little bit tough. Another article I had in my pile for most of this week, or at least the last few days, coming back to Wednesday on ESPN.com. Gary West wrote in his column, this is kind of interesting. Gary West, the most significant races of the year may be realized that Wise Dan, admirable and exciting though he may be, isn't horse of the year. So Gary West taking a little shot against Wise Dan as horse of the year. I think he's going to be a lock, but it's interesting. And now reading this, I will be interested to see what the final voting is. But Gary West looking horse of the year, and he said he came up with this conclusion just as he was putting together a list of the best races of the year. Not looking to find horse of the year. He was just simply putting together a list of the best races of the year. And as he did that, he realized, you know what? Wise Dan isn't my horse of the year. His horse of the year Will Take Charge. He's the rightful horse of the year, and he'll be the horse of the year on my ballot. The voters closely examine his races and his competition. They'll see that he clearly didn't accomplish as much, speaking of Wise Dan, or impact the sport as much as Will Take Charge. So Gary West in his most recent ESPN column, Wise Dan, not his horse of the year. Will Take Charge. Will Take Charge to me looks like a lock for for 3-year-old. But the 3 races he ran in the Triple Crown races, I'd have a tough time pulling the trigger for Horse of the Year. But Gary Westcomb, again, you can find that, and I think it's still on the Equitilly page as well. All right, as we wrap up, just do want to remind you once again, if you don't have a Capital Bets wagering account at this point, sign up. New account holders can participate in the Bet 50, Get 50 promotion. As soon as you bet your first $50, Capital OTB throws in another $50. Also, if you have a Capital Bets wagering account, you get to log on each and every day or whenever you want to. CapitalOTBBet.com, our brand new wagering platform, which has all the bells and whistles. So again, a couple of good reasons to become a Capital Bets wagering account holder. Bet 50, get 50 on now. Find more information at CapitalOTB.com, and then once you do that, you can fly right over to that wagering site, CapitalOTBBet.com. Coming up here at the Clubhouse Racebook on Sunday, Steve Bick and his $500 bankroll. You can enter the drawing from 11 until 1:30. At 1:30, 25 patrons will be randomly selected. They will participate in the bankroll. Steve Bick in here on Sunday at the Clubhouse Racebook with a $500 bankroll. Monday evening, boxing returns to the Clubhouse Racebook. Should be a lot of fun, very entertaining. Doors open at 5:30, first bout at 6:30. Boxing again here at the Clubhouse Racebook this Monday, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. And once again, do want to remind you, kicking off tomorrow and for the next 3 Saturdays, lucky Saturdays here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Drawings at the top of the hour, 1, 2, 3, and 4 p.m. with Funny Money Machine, spin the big wheel. A couple people get selected at the top of each of those 4 hours. Should be a lot of fun here. Lucky Saturdays here at the Clubhouse Racebook for the next 3 weekends. All right, that's going to wrap things up for Racing Across America for this Friday morning and wraps up another week as well. We're in here every Monday through Friday from 10 until 11 a.m. Don't forget, over the weekend, the morning programming continues. Handicappers Report still on at 9 o'clock. Saturday, it's Down the Stretch with Mark Casano. Sunday, Steve Bick and I are in here with Loose on the Lead. So keep the TV tuned to Channel 12. Good programming all weekend long. Cash some tickets this afternoon. As far as Racing Across America, we'll see you next Monday morning.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.